It's a common myth that divorce attorneys are pro-divorce, but that's simply not true. I'm Shanna Borman, here with straight talk and honest advice about family law here in the Brazos Valley. And today we're going to talk about ways that you can prevent a divorce from happening from the very beginning. Divorce lawyers are not pro-divorce, especially the lawyers at my firm. We'd rather people work out their problems before they ever come to our office. If you're already married, the best way to avoid coming into our office is by using open and honest communication with your spouse. Communicating your feelings and resolving your problems is the clearest, easiest way to stay out of a divorce lawyer's office. Being mindful and contributing your whole heart and soul into your relationship because you bare your soul to your spouse and share your feelings with your spouse and not allow things to fester is the best way to ensure that both of you are communicating at your highest level with one another, working towards the goal of being a united couple. If you allow things to go unresolved or unaddressed, they will fester, and those wounds, those sores will never go away unless and until you open it up and talk about them. Really, talking and communicating is the best thing that you can do for your marriage. I can tell you, I'm not very good at being vulnerable, and I'm not really very good at communicating my feelings. And so it does cause problems. I know this. And so I encourage you, though, to overcome any inhibitions you have when you're married to talk to your spouse about how you're feeling so that the success of your marriage can depend on it. Now, if you're going to be getting married, I think there are 4 things you need to talk about with your potential spouse. And those 4 things are really pretty universal, right? The first thing is money. You need to talk about money with your potential spouse. How are you going to manage your joint money? So are you going to put it all into one bank account? And are you going to pay the bills out of that bank account? Or are you going to maintain separate bank accounts? And who's going to pay what bills out of what account? And how are you going to manage savings and spending? Is one of you a spender versus one of you a saver? There's typically that relationship difference in almost every relationship, that attitude towards money. And in the long run, that becomes a huge reason that people divorce. I can't tell you how many times I have one person come into my office and say, my spouse is a spender, or my spouse never lets me spend any money. And so that issue about managing money is really a potential problem in the long run. So the second thing is religion. Are you of the same religion? Is one spouse going to need to convert to the other spouse's religion? Are you going to go to church consistently? What is your plan for church? What is your plan on where you're going to raise your children from a religious standpoint? Addressing those issues before you have kids and addressing them before you get married really solves a lot of problems that in the long run can jump up and bite you. So avoiding those issues by talking about them first is the best way to go. Number 3, the third thing is children. Who wants children? Which one of you wants children? How many children do you want? How will you raise those children? What are your ideas about morals and ethics and upbringing for them? Do you want to put them in daycare? Do you want one spouse to be a stay-at-home parent? What are those issues? What does that look like in the long run for you? Does one of you want 8 kids and the other one wants 1? Talking about children and how they will be integrated into your relationship and into your marriage is really fundamental for your long-term success. I can tell you lots and lots of cases where I've had people come in and say, my spouse really, really, really wanted to have another kid and I didn't want to do that, and it caused problems in the long run. I've even had couples where one spouse insisted that the other spouse have an abortion after they'd had multiple children together, and it really caused wounds that really never were able to be healed. And so those issues, addressing them ahead of time is absolutely the best thing you can do. And now the last thing you need to discuss is in-laws. So when I tell you, when you look at your potential mate's parents, you're looking at your future potential mate. And so you need to know what it is that you're signing on for. You're not just marrying your partner, you're marrying into their family, and you need to discuss with them the involvement that your in-laws will probably have in your relationship. I have done countless divorces where people have come in and they've said that, the meddling mother-in-law or the meddling father-in-law is really a cause of strife and conflict in the marriage, and that's really led them to a place where the spouse spouses were divided, it drove a wedge between the spouses and it led to a divorce. And so addressing that elephant in the room before it becomes an issue is really the best way to go when you're looking at a long-term success of your relationship. In short, hopefully these 4 principles for pre-marriage, or really one fundamental principle during your marriage, can help you resolve the issues that would lead you to come into my office. We don't want you to get divorced unless it's a last resort. But if you do need to get one, if you do need to make that choice and you do need information about that, give us a call because we're here to help.